Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. You know, I did a video the other day, the disadvantages to owning a hybrid Toyota Tacoma. So I thought it's only fair to take a look at the other side, the flip side. What are the advantages to owning a hybrid Toyota Tacoma? And you know, one thing that I left off that I should have included in that previous video was the cost. We know that the cost of a hybrid Toyota Tacoma is going to be higher, right? So that's one of the first and biggest disadvantages, I think. It's going to cost you more to get one. Now, it's probably going to even out over time when it comes to fuel savings or fuel cost, but how many years is it going to take to offset that difference in price? Something else to consider, particularly if you're buying the new hybrid Tacoma based on its fuel economy. So let's take a look. I've gone to the web again, plugged in the question, what are the advantages to owning a hybrid Toyota Tacoma or a hybrid truck in general? First thing that comes up is the answer to that question, I guess. It says, hybrid trucks offer a middle ground between full electric trucks and gas powered. And by the way, I think that's where we're at right now. You know, the infrastructure in the US is really not set up for all electric vehicles. You have to seek out the stations, you have to hope to find one that has one of those superchargers that charges really fast, unless you're a very patient person and you're willing to sit and wait for that thing to charge up. I'm not very patient, so that's a big disadvantage to me. And you have to hope that the ones that are there are working. Not to mention the time it's going to add to more long distance trips. Obviously, if you're traveling across country and you're in an electric vehicle, and people do it, they've done it, you're gonna have to pencil in a little more time to recharge. Efficiency, cost, towing capability, and more, it goes on to say. Current electric trucks are more efficient, but also more expensive, as I mentioned earlier, right? And they offer much less range when towing compared to their diesel or gas burning counterparts. So it makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, the more load that you put on that truck, like if you're towing something heavy, the more energy it's going to take to pull it, right? That means the fuel efficiency and the range is going to decrease. It's only common sense. So you're not going to be able to go as far with those charges as you would if you were driving a naturally aspirated or a gas-powered truck. It's something to consider again if you tow a lot. Next up, do hybrid trucks really save on gas? It says here you get the best of both worlds. Hybrid trucks are a great option for the modern driver. They can save on fuel costs, reduce emissions, and keep your vehicle in good shape. I'm not really sure how a hybrid or having a hybrid helps to keep the vehicle in good shape, but obviously if you drive without towing or hauling a lot of extra weight or even a lot of extra people, kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? It's going to save on gas, and that's the biggest thing, and that's the whole reason for hybrids, isn't it? To save on gas. They talk about reducing emissions. You know, I don't know. The truck, when it's not running, has to restart, and I think one of the biggest expulsions of gases and things is when the truck restarts. Obviously, it's going to put more out. So does it really save on emissions? I'm not sure, because hybrids, if you didn't know, start and stop as needed. They'll run on the electric part as long as they can, and then when the draw is more, you need more power, the engine will fire up. Next up, this is just kind of an interesting thing, I think. How does a hybrid pickup truck work? Conventional vehicles use gasoline or diesel to power an internal combustion engine. Hybrids also use an internal combustion engine and can be fueled like normal cars, but also have an electric motor and battery. What happens is the battery kicks in to help, if you will, or if you're driving in such a manner that you don't need the combustion engine. In other words, if you're driving slow, if you're moving around in a parking lot, if you're backing out of your garage, you're going to be in full EV, electric vehicle mode. Now, if the new Tacoma, the hybrid Tacoma, is like the Prius here, you do have an option too to select EV only. In other words, you can put it in electric vehicle mode only and drive until you exhaust the battery, which isn't very far. I know in the Prius here, it's rated somewhere 4 to 6 miles or something like that. Again, this is the hybrid, not the Prime. And then it switches fully over to the combustible engine, the normal engine. So that's not very far, but that's a little misleading because again, as you're driving around, it's going to charge constantly. It has a regenerative charging feature. So you're constantly going to be re-upping that battery, but it's constantly using it too. The cool thing about this car, and I'm sure the new Tacoma will have it as well, is there is a readout, a display that shows you how it's utilizing the system in the truck, in the car in this case. Shows you when it's using the electric power, shows you when it's using both, shows you when it's using the engine. Kind of a neat thing to see, and it really gives you an idea of how frequently or infrequently it's running just on electric power only. Next up, do you have to charge a hybrid truck? Well, this is interesting. Yeah, you have to charge it, but it's the matter of charging it or the manner of charging it. If it's a fully plug-in hybrid electric, like the Prius Prime, you have to plug it in to charge it. Doesn't mean it doesn't have regenerative power, which I'm sure it does, but to fully recharge that vehicle, you have to plug it in. That can take anywhere from 8 to 11 hours, and depending on your schedule, you may not have 8 to 11 hours. So you may not have a full charge every time you take off. You do have the combustion engine to rely on, but still kind of defeats the purpose of having a hybrid, right? Is there a downside to buying? One more little blurb about the disadvantage, I guess, because I've come across something else here. It says, like other hybrid vehicles, you'll probably pay more for insurance. You won't save as much money driving a mild hybrid versus a fully hybrid and EV. You have two engines, gas and electric, so repairs will be higher than a gas car. There are no federal tax credits for a mild hybrid vehicle. So if you're looking to pick up a hybrid and take advantage of the tax credits from the government, make sure you check that before if it's something you're depending on. You may not qualify for it. Not every hybrid qualifies for that government tax credit. So in the end, the advantages: better fuel economy, lower emissions, maybe more power, maybe less power, depending upon how you use it. And then there's just the cool factor of driving it. I do find there is a cool factor in driving a hybrid vehicle. Not to talk about with your buddies, they're probably going to dog you about it, but I mean all of the systems and things in the truck, if you're into all that tech and stuff. Anyway, leave a comment, let me know. Do these advantages tip the scale for you and you're going to run right out or wait to buy that hybrid Tacoma? Or does it go the other way around? There's no way you would get one. I'd just be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.